Right off the bat, Arizona State is going to be playing what looks to be a mid-range hunter, and Washington State is going to throw out a druid. And that's Living Roots.
Living Roots is an amazing card to have on turn 1 against Hunter. If you're playing a faster druid, you start pressuring. If you're playing a slower druid, it kind of acts like your zombie chow to trade with some of the early minions. It's a great card to have. Definitely keeping that in your opening hand. Swipe's probably going to go away. Not a great start from Hunter. Gonna have to mulligan for some early game.
Yeah, you really need early game as the hunter in this matchup because nowadays, especially after TGT with Darnassus Aspirant being put in, druids can really run away with the game if hunters get off to a poor start.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter is like the mid-range hunter, especially one with Dr. Boom and presumably double high main. That's actually one of the greediest decks. Actually, like people think of it as an aggro deck, and it is, but the mid-range hunter, the way it works is it almost kills every single control deck if you're not pressuring them, because not a lot of decks can deal high main into Boom, maybe another high main, things like Shredder. They're so hard to deal with when you're playing from behind. But like the weakness of the mid-range hunter is if you're behind, it doesn't feel nearly as good to start dropping these high mains and Shredders and Dr. Booms. They don't prevent you from dying. So really good opening from Washington State with turn 1 into a wall growth into Shredder.
Yeah.
Maybe even a Harrison Jones.
Yeah, could be good. Arizona State, on the other hand, Hunter's Mark not really going to be that effective now, but it is a strong card against Druid. Druids tend to play single medium-sized to large creatures, in which case Hunter's Mark does fantastic work against.
Really good mulligan, actually. He actually, the real Doctor Who, he actually kept the Hunter's Mark in his hand. That's the only card he kept. But the other cards he drew were quite good. He has the Web Spinner and the Mad Scientist, two really important cards to have early. I'm assuming the Hunter's Mark is kept to deal with the innervated out or well-growthed out big minion, like a Druid Claw, ideally. It's pretty useful against Druid. At some point, it'll definitely come into play. So
yeah, it also combines well with Web Spinner as well as Mad Scientist, because you're getting value out of the creature that you're even trading in to whatever you Hunter's Marked.
Yeah.
It replaces itself, sort of.
Yeah. So Arizona State, they decided to skip their one-drop Web Spinner just to get a better trade on board. Don't want to be dropping Web Spinner against these 2/1/1s. That decision, I mean, so I guess he didn't really have anything to coin out, but it definitely messes up his mana curve somewhat. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah. It's like they don't want to deal with the Mad Scientist just yet, which I don't really blame them, because they know they're going to be playing Pilot or Shredder next turn. They don't want to, like, they kill the Mad Scientist, have Freezing Trap pop up, and give Arizona State a really good target for it with the Pilot or Shredder.
Yeah, that's true. This Freezing Trap could be brutal against this opening. That's actually a worse feeling when you have just one Shredder sitting against the Freezing Trap. You know it's a Freezing Trap.
Uh-oh.
This could be bad. This could be the worst possible thing, because not only do you proc the Snake Trap, you give them a Freezing Trap. Or it could be. I'm not sure, but I mean, ultimately it's the same thing. If you go face, I guess you won't get the Snake Trap, but they'll still trade in the Scientist.
But then it could be Bear Trap.
Yeah, so you can't play around everything at this one. Bear Trap is like a new thing. You get punished one way or another.
Yeah, another secret is pulled out. I heard the clicky noise.
Yeah.
The faint sound, so.
Feels bad to drop a Shredder into probably a Freezing Trap, but.
Yeah. Ooh, Ram Wrangler. That card can be game-changing. Playing a 5-mana 3/3 on turn 5 and only getting like a 1/1 out of it, like a Captain's Parrot, can really lose you tempo, but playing the Ram Wrangler, getting something like Gozrilla or Savannah Jaime can win you games.
It's actually pretty hard to get a great minion from Ram Wrangler. I actually played the card quite a bit. I thought that there was going to be just more. I'm always like biased. I was like, get a high. I just think of it as like play this. It's like a high main, or play it. It's like I'm assuming I get a King Crush, and I always get like a 1/1 or a 1/2.
Like a Silverback Patriarch. Silverback Patriarch is like my average.
Yeah.
I got King Crush once, and it won me a game that I probably would have won anyway. So it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And then every other time I play the card, it's like Silverback Patriarch. Jungle Panther at best.
So apparently we did get word that this trap is
Bear
Trap.
So this is a very beast-oriented mid-range hunter. They want very high frequency of beasts,
Wow.
very high chance for beasts on the board.
This kill command came out. Wow.
Whoa. Bold move.
That is, yeah, because, so even if it is a bear trap, a 4-3 going to, I guess, okay, so I guess Arizona State, they had to be worried about, okay, first of all, a lot of times the other person won't check just because they're so scared of freezing trap. But I guess what happens here is if they go face, it's bear trap, then swipe all the 3-1-1s down. That could be a disaster, right? You're swiping the bear and the 1-1s. But, I mean, the way that this worked out doesn't feel good. I mean,
feels pretty rough.
Trading your whole board and a kill command for the Shredder. Could have just played Web Spinner. And, I mean, we saw that there was no swipe. Now with this Houndmaster pickup and the Ram Wrangler in your hand, you know, that might have been a huge... It's like sometimes you're scared of a card so much that you play around it. First of all, they don't have all the time. And even if they do have it, if your play is like equivalently bad, even if they do have it, it could, you know, be a disaster like this. Because once this Web Spinner dies... Oh, it didn't die. Okay,
it didn't die.
I was like, if it dies, then you don't have beasts, and your whole hand is relying on beasts. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be... I'm assuming it's going to be a Ram Wrangler here.
Yeah. I just saw a smile creep across the real Doctor Who's face.
Mm-hmm. Is there a point in Hunter's Marking before the Ram Wrangler? Maybe he's thinking of Knife Juggler in Hunter's Mark, and no, that doesn't make that much sense.
Yeah.
I'd say
I think they're thinking about it, but I don't think there's any... No, there's nothing.
Because if you play Ram Wrangler, you might as well just play it first and then see what you get, then Hunter's Mark.
Uh-oh. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's good. I think
now they can Hunter's Mark. Yeah,
it's good. It's good. It's basically a 4-3.
Yeah,
and that grows bigger.
Yeah, so it's like a 7-6 in stats for 5 mana, plus the threat of it growing bigger, and the stats are split among 2 creatures, so it's a little bit harder to remove.
Yeah.
So
we also see Unleash the Hounds. That could be a nice synergy with the Scavenging Hyena, since it gets +2/+1 for every beast that dies. Unleash the Hounds. That could be pretty crazy. I'm really interested to see what happens if Washington State top decks Dr. Boom, and then you see Knife Juggler and Leash, and then everything go off, and then the Scavenging Hyena gets to be like a 10 attack dude.
Not quite, but they do have Ancient of War, so they do have a pretty powerful turn 7 play. It looks like they're going to go for this pretty much automatically. Not really many other options.
Yeah, this is when Hunter really snowballs the lead though, because normally Hunter's behind against Druid. That's why. That's when Druid usually does good, but when Hunter's ahead on board, with things like Houndmaster and High Main, it's so hard to deal with. I feel like this can snowball out of control very quickly for Hunter.
Double Ram Wrangler. This deck is very feast or famine. You can get caught with Houndmasters and Wranglers in your hand and not have any beasts, and all of a sudden you're looking at the worst statted cards for the costs in at that mana slot in almost the entire game. But I mean, there's situations like this where you can really get some key tools. But right now the options are like play Bloodfin Raptor with Houndmaster.
Yeah, there's not actually anything great here. I bet that the real Doctor Who would really want to have a kill command here right now.
Yes, he would. That is true. Too bad it was used on a Shredder. I mean, if I was in this situation, I would probably go for the Ram Wrangler, just because you're never guaranteed a beast. But this fits the curve better with the Houndmaster, so not surprised. It does get traded into by the...
I wonder if that's face or trade. Okay, so it is face, getting that 6 damage. There is Unleash the Hounds for some burn as well, so...
Yeah.
A little bit weak to, I guess, an Owl at this point if you're going face, but... I mean, a Keeper.
Yeah, Washington State's in a little bit of a rough spot, actually, because they don't really have too much spot removal here. They can go for Force of Nature for a clear, and they could kill everything but the Ram Wrangler, which would, take off a beast.
Yeah,
take off the beast
at that point, you're playing for behind again, because there's another board next turn, and part of your win condition, since you have all these minions, is maybe to play your minions, try to fight for board control like that, and then play your combo together. And in fact, if he stays Force Nature 1 turn, you can even combo a Savage Roar, not for face, but just for removal. It's better to combo both together as well. I kind of like to see him play as much power as he can So a couple of good moves are Aspirant and Druid Claw or Ancient of War. They're both kind of viable. Depends how much he wants to play around one big removal. Does just go for the Force Nature.
Yep. Just go ahead and clear off. At least all the beasts off the board. Arizona State not going to get Ram Wrangler value unless they can draw into a 2-mana beast. But that is a high main, and that is one of the best targets you can rip off the top. It's a turn late, but I don't think they're too worried about that.
Yeah, high main is really good here. Especially since, you know, he doesn't have to trade here. Your high mains, the Death Rattle part is kind of weak to the 2-3, but there's not a great way for them to kill your high main first, and for them to get that advantageous trade.
Especially since they forced a nature last turn to clear off a board.
Yeah, and
they
also
probably don't have spot removal.
Going from 9 to 10 mana, theoretically, it's not too big of a deal in this situation. We know that it matters somewhat here, probably not that much.
Double 5-drop is like the only really strong play.
Yeah, but there's not a Harrison target right now, so.
Yeah. They might be afraid of like double Druid of the Claw, but even then, Savannah High Maid trades so well into those, so face damage it is. Well then.
Keeper, kind of a useful card. I mean, definitely useful here, but unfortunately, even with the Keeper, one of the problems with keepering a high main is that it's still a 6/5, and usually when you play Keeper, you can't play anything else that good this turn. He has about as good as he can get with Keeper and Druid Claw. Even then, there's not a great way for him to deal with the high main. Druid Claw can like taunt, and it kind of sets the Keeper or the high main to a 6/1 after the attack. This move would feel a lot better if there was a swipe in his hand, since then you can swipe down the 6/1, splash it down. Without a swipe in your hand, the Keeper plus Druid Claw feels a lot worse as well. There's also some other moves, Ancient of War and Hero Power, I guess. The Savage Roar doesn't make that much sense here.
Yeah, Ancient of War, very powerful creature. It's going to hope for no owl, which we do not see one.
Yeah, our second Hunter's Mark. The Ancient War here is actually really good. We might be able to see some crazy jugglers here. In fact, Knife Juggler.
That's a Stranglethorn Tiger.
First. Oh, wait, why does he play Juggler first? That's so much pings. He gets 2 pings from the 2 minions and 2 pings from the high main. That's 4 pings. You should not miss up this Juggler, I think. What else is it going to do with the extra 3 mana? Unleash the Hounds? Like, no way. Yeah, okay, so this Juggler is going to be pretty cool. In fact, it's actually possible that Ancient War just dies here.
Yeah?
Especially against a Charging Beast or something.
Always the Snapshot. I'd say that's above average. That's quite a big body there. Well, there goes his opportunity to get those juggles. But, you know, he still brings that thing down quite a bit, and that's a pretty intimidating board to be going up against.
Yeah, 4 pings is still 4 pings. That's still a lot of damage. 2 damage to face, at least as good as your Hero Power, and also getting the 2 damage on the Ancient of War. It's still useful, maybe. Depends how he decides to trade.
Yep.
It turns out to be pretty useful. There's a lot of things with 2 attack. I guess Ancient War trading into the 3/3.
And then playing the Druid of the Claw.
Yeah, this might be a game where Hunter actually runs out of steam. You don't see this very often, just because double Ram Wrangler, double Shredder, double High Main. There's, usually you don't run out of steam with this Hunter. Once you get going, you just keep slamming down threats. But Ancient War is a card that's really good at making your opponent run out of steam. It's if they don't have an answer.
Well, that's a Dr. Boom.
Guess he's not out of steam.
Not quite running out of steam yet. How much damage is combo going into the next turn? So it'd be 24 damage, I believe. So not threatened by combo at all. He can feel free to just play that down. And actually, it looks like he's just going to go ahead and trade in the Druid of the Claw now.
Yeah, it trades well enough.
And Wrath doesn't help too much at the moment. No BGH. They could try and cycle for it.
There's a way to clear Dr. Boom without using your face. It's Savage Roaring your Keeper and then Wrathing. That might leave you in an unwinnable position, I feel.
Yeah.
So, because you only have 5 mana after, so it'd be Shredder or, Shredder into Savage or Wrath. That pretty much means that you're going to lose the game after.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to search for a big game hunter. Ancient of War is actually a really good pickup. It doesn't trade the best into Dr. Boom because
No,
it does
it
have 5
doesn't.
attack.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's something. It
It's
buys them another
definitely
turn.
something. Yeah. This is like basically like the unstoppable force versus the unmovable object.
Yeah.
Dr. Boom into the Ancient War. Pretty classic battle here.
Well,
Doesn't actually have lethal on the Ancient War
no.
without Lucky Boom Bots or Unleash the Hounds.
I don't think even with Lucky Boom Bots you could get lethal.
I mean lethal on the Ancient War.
Oh. Well, yeah, no, he does.
With Boom Bots for sure. It depends how you want it. There's technically 9 on board, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so he's just going for Unleash. Plus, would you actually prefer to Hero Power and Tiger or play the high main here? I think I might prefer the Hero Power and Tiger.
Yeah, because it's pretty much like 5 guaranteed damage somewhere the next turn.
Yeah, it's similar enough in the sense that your main threat here is Dr. Boom as a 7-2.
Yeah.
So, and the Tiger's still stealth, right? So you might as well just get the extra Hero Power, I feel.
Yeah.
And just play the high main next turn.
The hero power next turn, like the immediate damage is
Oh.
7. It's kind of a turn late though.
Kind
I mean,
of a turn late, but it's still useful.
Yeah.
It's actually really useful still.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Because I think the main situation is as Hunter, you're more worried about how much damage you do right now.
Yeah.
So if you're playing from behind, you might want to play high main because it trades better. You can trade into a minion and
Yeah.
still have stuff left over. Right now he's just worried about face damage, so he's definitely just going for the extra damage with the hero power play.
Whoa. There's not a potential lethal because
There,
even with
oh
Huffer,
yeah, there's not. No.
No, but that's still a big board. But he's not fitting any hero power. So
I think it's okay. It's just too much damage. It's too much. Like
Yeah, but
Druid
the-
fights pretty honestly. It's
Yeah.
hard to make a comeback from this board. You just go face here, get him down 7, then it still seems hard to lose from here.
Yeah. Washington State's board does trade pretty well into it, like Big Game Hunter and then Ancient of Lore. But then you're still leaving something on the board, whether it be Savannah High Main
Yeah.
or the Tiger. So
I wonder if you go for the super
the value trade,
value trade against the BGH.
super
That'd
weak to
be,
swipe.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. That'd be way too weak to swipe. So I don't think so. Combo, wow. That's not lethal, but it's quite good at board clear.
Yeah. But that's the entire turn.
You have to do this though. If you don't do this and play minions, you trade both. You die to the high main plus hero power. So you have to use Force Nature at least. Whether Savage Roar is used here, I'm not sure because it depends how useful it is. I'd say it's probably useful enough to go for it, since you might be able to keep one of your minions alive this way.
Yeah.
Maybe even both.
I think you have to in order to stay alive. Otherwise, you have to hero power because you'd only be able to take off everything but like the Stranglethorn Tiger.
This is a fast move. Was that the best? I mean, so this way, the way he did it, he gets to keep his Ancient of Lore alive. And then you can trade the 6-2 into that. You have to trade both in there.
Yeah, I mean, he could start from scratch with an empty board, but he's going to take 2 more damage. Put him down to 5. So then Kill Command, Quick Shot, Eagle Horn Bow, all become lethal no matter what they do in this situation. So a lot of outs for Arizona State. Not sure how much burn they pack into this deck because of all the beast synergy, though.
At least Eagle Horn Bow should be in the deck, and that's lethal. Oh,
yeah!
Eagle Horn Bow.
There it is.
I was feeling the bow because I didn't see a
I
bow
was
all game.
feeling
I was
it.
feeling it because it's all game long when someone doesn't have it. You know that their deck is thinned out, and
Yeah.
there's still 2 of those, so it becomes more and more likely that you pick one up. It's kind of like the feeling when you're playing Get to Zoo where they haven't played Doomguard, and since they usually don't play it until they're empty, like you
Yeah.
can feel the Doomguard coming up. You know eventually
Yeah.
it'll be there.
Yeah. Oh, look, the cheer from the real Doctor Who and, you know, some somber looks on the faces of the Washington State University guys.